Good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to make a new scenario, actually present to you a new scenario for systems analysis and design with a case study, and then we'll move forward, create the solution for it, uh, find out all the functional and non-functional requirements, do requirements modeling, uh, and then go ahead and create diagrams, namely use cases, activity diagrams, and context diagram, functional decomposition diagram, DFD, and the ERD. So I would like you to read through this scenario, which I have. It's approximately one page only. So you can go ahead and, if you want, pause the screen and look at the complete scenario. It's a flower-based. It's a flower shop, um, and the customers are actually required to log into the shop, to the online system, and then place orders uh, along different categories. So if you can just pause the screen, read through the scenario, and then look at me drawing this, creating the diagrams, doing the requirements. That should be a good reference for you for your practical case analysis and even the projects. Okay, let me read through this with you to identify our functional and non-functional requirements. The first thing is we need to do finding out the functional requirements, then looking for verbs. Hamra is an online flower delivery store. Actually, this is store, not story. Allows customers to choose and send flowers bouquets to their friends or family for special occasions. So this is a description, an overview of what this store does, and let's move forward, look at this para, and see exactly what we need to find out for the scenario. Okay, the first thing is very clear. So there are verbs coming ahead. The customers can register, log in, and search. So these are three things which are actually happening. So search flowers by price and search flowers by color, and then view the flower they like. When they shortlist a flower, they view its details. So this view the flower and the view the details is the same thing, because when you view the flower, you can see the details also. So let's keep it very scaled down to a short version of a systems analysis case study. When they shortlist a flower, they view its details, location, they were planted. So all of these are details. These are not verbs. So these are not my functional requirements as such, but these are the details of the functional requirements. The customer then selects a delivery date and an occasion, and then places the order. The system checks if the user is already logged in. If yes, the system takes you to a payment screen. Otherwise, the login or register screen. To register, the customer enters name, email, password. So all of these are details that goes into the registration process as inputs. Here the customer is already registered, so these are my ifs and buts that will go into the activity diagram. And the payment page, Visa cards, details, etc. So it's for the payment process. These details will go in. Receives an email with the order confirmation and an SMS. So order confirmation is also a requirement over here. The order is delivered on the selected day. So this delivered is also a noun, but it's a manual process. The delivery is manual. So we don't need to model this. Confirming the delivery. So this is order confirmation, and this is also order confirmation. Okay, let's stick to what we have up till now, and let's go ahead and create functional and non-functional requirements. So this is my flower case study. You see this in your practical case analysis, something like this. You need to create non-functional requirements, functional requirements, requirements modeling. So let's start with this first. Okay. And the easiest thing, I know you've seen inputs, output, processes, controls in different lines. So to do it quickly, I would suggest you create a table, and to create a table you need to come to insert table in process name, input output, control, performance, and it depends upon the processes you have created. You will just write down over here what are my processes, and let's say write down over here this is my functional requirement and my non-functional requirements, and I just copy and paste this table over there. But before copying, let me add these processes: input, output, control, performance. So this actually gives me a quicker way to see everything in one screen, and all the processes together. So let me gray this out to make this a heading. Okay, let me fill in this color. Okay, I've got this table ready. Let's create another table for this non-functional requirements. Also bold it out. I've got my functional and non-functional requirements tables ready. Okay, now I highlighted something over here, so but I actually by mistake I removed it. So let's do this again very quickly. Save my flowers as my color, new flower, customer, can select the delivery date and the location. Okay. You receive an email. Sorry, not this one. Confirmation is also a requirement. Okay. Order is in the process. Okay, so this means the customer has to place an order. This is place. Okay, so place an order means to create an order. So let's write all of these requirements over here. Register, login, search, view. Okay. Register, login, search, view, and then I have place order and order confirmation. Okay, place order, order confirmation. This is order confirmation is form of email or SMS, so I'm gonna place this down in non-functional requirements because this may not be a functional requirement. Place, view, search, login, register, all of these are functional requirements. Order confirmation is not functional. Without this, the system will be perfectly working. Okay. To register, I see over here in the scenario, to register, the customer enters his name, email, password, mobile phone number. So I've got this. Name, email, password, mobile phone number, and what does he get out of it? He gets registered, registration completed. What happens after the registration is done to the customer? There is no SMS, there is no confirmation. Okay, so if it's not written in the scenario, you just leave SMS or email confirmation. Control: who can register this? Can a systems administrator register a user? Can the owner of the company register me? For example, if there's a flower shop, the owner of the company can register me? I don't think so. So if I am the customer, only I myself can register myself to the portal, to their online flower delivery system. So it's who does this? It's the customer. performance, there's no, is there anything that how many registration is done, how many customers register every week or every year? It's not. If it's written, you write down over here. If it's not written, you leave it. That how many customers register every week, or how many customers place order every week or every month. If it's written, then you write down the performance. Otherwise, you leave it empty. Login again. For login, what do the customer do? The system checks if the user is already logged in. Yes. Okay. To register, if the customer is already registered, he simply needs to log in using email and password. So login means needs what? An email and password, and login completed is the output. And who can do this? Only the registered customer, not everybody. He says if the customer is already registered, he or she can simply needs to log in using email password, after which they see the payment page. Okay, let's move forward. There's no indication of the performance, how many people log in every day or every week. There's no indication. Search also, who can do this? Remember, anybody can do this. On their website, customers can register, log in, search for flowers. But while they're ordering, if you read through the scenario, while ordering, if you're not already registered, it will take you to the login page, or if you're not logged in, it will take you to the registration page. So this means search also everybody can do, even a normal customer can do. So what is the input? It says search for flowers by price and search flowers by color. So I can search by a price suiting my pocket, or I can search by specific color which I'm looking for. So the inputs will be color and price. Output search results. So system displays the search result. Who can do this? A customer, not a registered customer. Sorry, only a customer can do this. Even a customer can do this. Obviously, a registered customer can also do, but this search is also available for a normal customer. Both normal customer and registered customer can do this. There's no indication of performance in the scenario, so you can leave this. View, and then view the flower they like. So a view flower also, a customer can search, register, login, search for flowers, and then view the flower they like. Okay. So this is a view process, and in this functional requirement, a customer is supposed to view any flower. So the input over here is, it's obvious it is a functional requirement, but there is no input indicated into the system. So you can actually make an assumption over here if you like, or if you want, you can leave this blank. But this functional requirement is definitely there. So let's make an assumption that this contains a flower name or ID. Output is flower is displayed. Who does this? Customer. Anybody can view or search, but if only the customer wants to place an order, then is when he or she needs to log in. This one, login. So he has to be a registered customer. Okay. So we've got my place order also almost ready. Let's do this. What is the input? It says the Visa card details are entered. Upon successful payment, system displays a message that order is in the process. And the customer also receives an email with the order confirmation and an SMS. So inputs is Visa card details. What details we don't know, so you can just write this. Outputs is order confirmation message, email, SMS. All of these. Who can do this? Registered customer only. How many? No indication in the system, so you can leave this blank. Let's just delete this also. Delete. entire row. Order confirmation is a non-functional requirement. Alright, now this order confirmation comes from here. The customer also receives an email with the order confirmation. Okay, there's one more place it says this, I think. Confirmation. Okay. Yeah, these two things, SMS confirming and the email with the order confirmation. So now this is related to order confirmation of a specific order which has been placed by the customer. So the inputs and outputs will be of this process. Alright, let's leave this over here because it's non-functional. We won't delve into the detail over here. Okay. I think what I've told you guys, for non-functional requirements, you don't do the diagrams. For non-functional requirements, you should do for functional requirements. So the modeling over here also, I think, for the sake of it, let me write this down over here. But you guys don't do the order, the non-functional requirements modeling and the diagrams in the practical case analysis. Only look at the functional ones. As far as you only identify over here non-functional requirements, I am okay. Don't create the diagrams. Okay, order confirmation will contain selected power output. There's two things actually. Selected flower. Alright, so now this is a non-functional requirement, so I think there's a bit of overlap. Don't look at the inputs. Let's assume this scenario after the order confirmation is done. So this order confirmation is actually email and SMS. So this is order confirmed order details. SMS and email is sent. Who does this? The system. Okay, how many times does this happen? We don't know. So let's move forward. Let's delete these rows which are not being used. And these are my requirements modeling, which is now finished, as well as the functional requirements. Both of these things. I've got register, login, search, view, place order, and order confirmation, email, and SMS. So these are my functional requirements. These are my non-functional requirements, and this table is telling me the requirements modeling also. So let's move this up so it tells me both of these things are covered here. Now let's go ahead and create the use case diagram. Oh, what for register? Okay, let me. Okay, let me open my visual. Come on. Okay, I open my visual. Now I need to create a new use case diagram. So I go to file. Yes, okay. UML model diagrams. So let's open my use case. This is my use case. The first thing I need to model is for my use case is register. The inputs are these inputs, etc. So I've written this down. Processes are register. So login and register. So register use case is a very simple one. You mention over here its name is register, and you create an actor which says this actor is a customer. So we have two things over here, register and a customer, register use case and a customer. Okay, now in the exam it's better if you just delete these because these are not needed. Okay, do this very quickly. And the other thing I need to do is look at login. So why don't I write email or password over here, because those details are not mentioned over here, not required over here, even though they are mentioned in the case study, but they are not required, because use case member is not telling me anything step by step. It is not offering me any detailed step. All a use case is telling me is what is the functionality and who is executing it, and what does it include, and uses or extends, and sometimes what it may or may not do. So let's look at the example. This is registered customer, only who can log in. So this is what I'm establishing over here. A registered customer is the only person who can log in. Okay, and when you see this red square, that's when it will glue itself or bind itself or stick itself with this oval shape, the use case, and then you can keep on moving it. So make sure you see this red uh, square on both the sides. So I've got login, I've got register. Now remember, there is some confusion I've seen in some of the diagrams which you guys have submitted to me, which says in while doing use case you can actually also have user or extends like this, which says after use case you do purchase order, for example, purchase or place order. Now this is completely wrong. Remember, login may contain, it may contain forgot password functionality, for example, but in that case also it will be extend forgot password, not uses. In that case also it will be extend, not uses, and extend is always the other way around. Okay, it's pointing back towards the main use case. But in this scenario there is no forgot password feature described, so you don't need to make it over here. So remember, some of you have sent me their diagrams asking me to proofread and verify. I've seen many things correct, and several things are also wrong. So let me tell you, only this can be correct only if it is mentioned in the system, but a login will never contain a purchase or a place order. So for example, let me open one of the solutions I've received has this the use cases. You see now, log into the system, uses check request, extends available car. Now, this is completely wrong. Available car is done by a staff, but right now the main use case is log in the system. Login, while logging in, he may forget his password. While logging in, the system may block his account, maybe because he entered wrong password 3 or 4 times. In that case you will be using extends and block login, or you'll be using extends and forgot password. But in this case a login is uses check request. I'm not sure what does this mean, check request, and a check request extends available car. This is completely wrong and false. So this is completely out of the scope of what one use case can do or is supposed to do. Now coming to this use case, online, I'm not sure what this online means, and this is very tricky. Online, what does this mean, online? So remember, this use case has to be a functional requirement. Normally when you have online written, it completely fades away your thought. I for myself, I am not able to see what you mean by here. So if you mean to Rent a car. So rent a car is a verb, but it is also in the, if you read, go ahead and read the scenario, it is also not suiting over here. So you may write this as a reserve car and then only stick to the reserve car and extend the reservation with search and extend the reservation with view. Sorry, not extend, include, uses the reservation with view, and stop there, because that's all a reservation will include. Signing contract is only being is done after the staff actually approves the car is available, and he verifies the car is available, calls you in, and then that's when you sign the contract. So this as a whole is wrong. You can do reserve car and you can have search and view within that use case being uses or extends. This as a whole is completely wrong. You can log into the system and the system can have forward password if it's there in the system, in the scenario. Otherwise you will stop over here, log into the system. Now created contract, I am not sure what this means. Created, the client does not create a contract, the staff creates a contract. Okay, so let me not go into the solution of this because I'm not supposed to tell you the solution, but let me tell you the line of thinking should be what a use case may extend or what it may use, but you have to spot the correct actor. The actor is wrong in this case. He's supposed to be staff over here. Let's say if he's staff and he creates a contract, then in this case he updates contract, he send SMS for reminder. Okay. Now this send SMS for reminder, this guy does not do, or this guy does not do. It only happens after the contract is already created, the person already took the car away, and creating the contract does not include the sending SMS for reminder. It includes the welcome message, but the sending SMS for reminder happens, for example, if I take a car for 30 days, it happens 28 or 29 days after this use case is finished. So this is wrong. Send SMS ID and password is completely okay, it's alright. Renew contract, okay, this is done by the client, not the staff. So if you're assuming this is the staff, then renew contract is done by the client. And login, yes, he can log in. So yes, if you have staff written over here, you have a create contract over here, which is also okay. You have a update contract is also okay. Send SMS ID and password is also okay, because during creation of contract, SMS ID and password will be done. And login is also okay. What is not okay is renew contract, because this is done by the client, not the staff. Send SMS for reminder, this is also wrong because this is done after the contract is created. So let me go back to the scenario I was describing. Okay, let's move ahead and look at my other use cases which I have. On their website, customers can register, login, which I've covered. So, okay, these ones, sorry. Search and view. Okay, the customer searches and views. Okay, now you can have multiple use cases emanating from this guy. This is search and this is view. Okay, let's create the communication. This is view. So I have this guy is doing search and this guy is also doing view of a use case. Okay, now let me tell you one more thing. Let me bring this down to be better, to be clearer. Okay, I have search, view and register by a normal customer, and I can also have this includes this uses over here, and this is perfectly valid because when you search you may view, sorry, not always, you may view if you like search results. Okay, my register, view and search and login are done, and let's place order. So now I need to place an order. This is done by also a registered customer only, a registered customer, place order. And he places this order. Let's look at this. Okay, and similarly a place order may also include, extends a login, because if he is not already logged in, then he will be required to log in. He may not have been logged in again. So while the customer is placing an order, the requirement is he should always be logged in. The requirement is he should always be logged in. But what if he is already logged in while he is placing an order? In that case, you may need him to log in. So in short, placing an order may not always require the customer to log into the system, because if he is already logged in, the place order will continue normal execution. So login extends place order, so we can log in independently. And while he is doing this use case, placing order, and he's already logged in, he can place the order. But if he's not already logged in, then he has to do this login. Okay, this is my place order, and then once this is finished, okay, order confirmation message, email by SMS. So this is going to happen. So order confirmation, email, SMS, this will also happen. Let me create another use case, and let me tell you this will always happen. So I have to have a uses or include arrow. This is order confirmation. That completes my visual diagram. Now let's move forward, create a activity diagram. So let's create activity diagram for register, search, login, place order. Okay. Let's open activity. This is my activity. This is my swim lane. Swim lane, second swim lane. This is this guy, customer, he's logging in. And this is who. This is the online system, and the system as a login or register use case. So you can, let's drag this. Before that, I need this initial state. So I'm creating a enter new account details and a registered user in the system process activities for the online system. So who does this enter new account details? It's customer who does this. Okay, the system does not enter the account details. Remember, who starts this process of registration? The customer. So it has to start from customer. He enters new account details like his password, username, email, mobile phone number, and the online system register user in the system. That's all it does. If you see the scenario, register, name, email, password, mobile, registration completed, control. So is there any SMS? Is there any email? Let's look for the description. To register, the customer enters his name, password, mobile. That's all. Okay, so he needs to do this, and his registration will be completed, and the activity diagram is finished. So let's create another activity diagram. Name it activity diagram login. in which I have two swim lanes again. This is my first swim lane. Again, he's customer, and the other swim lane is a online system. Let me write down over here the name, login. It's always a registered customer who is logging in. If he's not registered, he cannot log in. Okay. And then I pick the initial state and this state, enter login details, and the system will have a decision over here. If the login is correct, then it's okay, otherwise he needs to go back. So I'll put my decision. Okay, and then log in the user to the system. The decision is if and only if the details are correct. Then what am I supposed to do? This is my small process of logging in. Initial state connects with the enter login details, and enter login details connects with the decision. The decision says and the decision checks if the login is correct. If the login is approved, then they log into the system, and that's all. If it's wrong, then he has to go back. Sorry, let me select this arrow. If it's wrong, then he has to go back and enter login details again. Okay, so he has to go back over here, and because this is the first step, you can also connect it over here. It's okay. Alright, so let's do this. Both of these are correct, and you can place a note over here which says login successful. It has to be in the description. Just copy and paste. Okay, another note. Login failed. Alright, so this is my activity diagram for the login scenario completed. Let's move forward, create the activity diagrams for my place order, because the rest of the ones are fairly simple. So let me create for the place order. So for activity diagrams for search and view, simply the customer will start. You see this, the customer is starting. So in the activity diagram, the customer is supposed to start searching. The first step will be enter search criteria. Second step will be in the online systems swim lane. It will search the matching records and display. The third step will be on the customer's swim lane to view the results, and it will stop. In the view use case, it's also a different activity. It will also start from the customer. The customer will write the flower name, or he will write the flower ID, and the system will actually retrieve or get or search for it or get it. And the third step will be, it will be displayed to the customer with all the details, and it will stop over there. So it's sequential, it's one by one steps which is going on. The place order is the core process which we have to model in our activity diagrams. The user is supposed to, the registered customer is supposed to have supplied the Visa card details, and if successful, the order confirmation or message will come. So you need to go back and look at the scenario again and again. On the payment page, Visa cards are entered, and system displays a message that the order is under process. The customer also receives an email with the order confirmation. Okay. let's go back and create a activity diagram for this, and it says activity diagram says it's a place order scenario. So I have two swim lanes. There's no third person involved. First is a registered customer only. The second person is online system, and it starts from the initial state. The customer is supposed to, because this is payment system, let me give it the name also, or what is it? Well, it was place order. Okay, place order. He's supposed to pay over here. So the first step over here, it says on the payment page, Visa card details are entered. So the first thing you need to do to place an order before this was that he selected, he viewed, he searched. So all of that was done before login, etc. So you don't need to mention all of that, but you at least need to show that he started by selecting. He's finalized. He's shortlisted. So select flower. So he needs to first select the flower, then he needs to do the payment. To the scenario says the words are over there. Enter or provide Visa card details. Okay. Now the system will show upon successful payment. So this means it can be unsuccessful also. The system displays a message that the order is under process. So if it is not displayed, what happens when it is failed? Then you simply return the control flow back. So there is a decision over here which says if it's successful, then move forward. If it's not, then display information message, or it says displays a message that the order is under process. Display under process message if it's successful only. So let's move forward, create these flows, connect them to the activities correctly, and then this connects with the decision, and if it's successful, it comes down and displays the under process message. The customer also receives an email with order confirmation and SMS. Okay, so this means display process under process message, and also send email and SMS. Okay, now what you can do over here, you can create a fork and join and create two different activities, send email, send SMS, and later on join them. But if you do this, send email and SMS, it's also okay. Right, so let's move forward, create this as a right angled connector, so it looks more clean. And then I have a control flow which I am completing now. This is my final state. Okay. Alright, and now that looks like my online system is almost ready, and I need to just create the alternate flow. What happens if it fails? So if it fails, it goes back to the select flower, and you right angle connectors. Now this is, sorry, not select flower, it goes to the Because he's already selected the flower, he needs to provide the correct Visa card details which have been unsuccessful. So this is what you need to do. We'll go back and place the constraints over there, and payment successful, and this says payment unsuccessful. Right. So now this is my activity diagram for the order placement. Let's move forward, see what is the next requirement. Okay, I've created my use cases. My now activity diagrams is also now ready for all of these four, and then I need to create the functional decomposition, context diagram, DFD, and ERD. Okay, now my functional decomposition, remember, I need to open the DFD stencil for this. How you do this? You create your, go to more shapes, software and database, software, and you open the data flow diagram. Now this will open for you the data flow diagram stencil, wherein you need to create functional decomposition and context diagram first. The first thing I am creating now after the activity and use case is finished is FDD and the context diagram. So FDD is functional decomposition diagram. It is the most simplest diagram. If you remember your PowerPoints, it will be the overview, no details of the processes of what your organization, of what the system does. So let's create this online flower store. This is my first, and use this, create this using the entities. Online flower store, and then what does it do? Okay, it does my register, login, search, view, place order. Alright, do one thing, just quickly write down over here, register, search, place order, and connect them together, and you will see one more thing, because this is already covered there in the use cases and FR and NFR. This is a quite basic diagram, and it also eats up some time. So I would say maybe I will ask you not to make this in the project, in your final project. Let's say now this is place order, register, search. Now login is already included, view is already included in the place order, so we don't write this over here because it's a very simple. Once you have registered, it means you have viewed this already. If you want to expand this further, you can do, but this is the most basic one. Context diagram, and this is okay. Context diagram means now I have to create my top level DFD. So this context diagram is part of the DFD diagrams. So this is my online flower store, and whatever the name is, I think it's Alhambra flower store. So let's write this down. Alhambra flower store. And who is the actor over here? Who are the external entities who are outside the system? There are only two people, two things, which is this guy and this guy. Okay, this guy is a customer, and this guy is a registered customer. Okay, there can be, and there should be, in a real life scenario, there should be more entities, like who is the supplier, who is the vendor of this guy, who is the delivery person. Those are to if the delivery person is in another company, if they're outsourced to maybe RMX or another company, so that's another entity. If they do the delivery themselves, then that's not another entity. So in real life scenario, there will be customer, registered customer, supplier, and the vendor. So for the scenario as far as it is concerned, we are only sticking to these two entities, and we are creating dynamic connector, the connections between these, and what is flowing on these lines. So what is flowing on these lines is new account details, and what he sends back is he also sends back something. I can make it like this or like curved. I prefer the right angle. He's sending back what? New account. So there's no sending back over here, but yeah. So there is search results to the customer, and that's all, because in new account details there's no confirmation going back. Okay, that's all. So Alhambra store will reply back to the registered customer also in terms of search results, because both of these, the customer and the registered customer, can both do the search, and it will reply back with the search results. It will send order confirmation, and this guy over here, registered customer, will do place order. Yes, will send, sorry, not place order, the visa card details, or just card details, whatever you want to call it. So this is being flown from registered customer to Alhambra store. Alhambra store is sending back order confirmation and search results. A normal customer sends new account details, and he can also search, and this guy sends back the search results. So let's stop over here on the context diagram, because it's just an overview. We drill down to the DFD level 0, which is DFD 0, and we create the DFD for the system, and it is requiring all the processes. Let's see what my processes are. They are only functional requirements: register, login, search, view, place order. 1.0 register, 2.0 login, 3.0 search, 4.0 view, 5.0 place order. So these are my data processes to be written in the data flow diagram. So let's place them together, and we can move them later on if we need some formatting or positioning. Okay, so now I have 5 processes together. So let's see who are my external interactor. These are, you can use this one or also this one, customer or registered customer. Okay, so I'm connecting my data flows. So this diagram's purpose is just to show the data flows only. login search. So this person cannot register, only customer can register. The registered customer is already registered, so he cannot register again. He can by the way, login, search and view. This customer can only register, search and view. He cannot log in because he's not a registered customer. And then this guy, in the end, finally he can place order, the registered customer. And let's move this up a little so we can show this a little bit more clearly. Yes, over there. Okay, now is when we'll start adding labels to this. Okay, customer new account details to the registration. Customer also sends search criteria. Customer also sends flower ID or name to the view. And a registered customer also, when he uses login, he enters login detail or username and password. This also does search criteria, and this guy also does flower ID name. And when he's placing an order, he has to provide Visa card details and flower ID or flower name. Okay. Now this is going from these people to these processes. Now coming back to these processes, how you can have them register. What is anything is sent back? There is nothing sent back. Registration is completed. So you can write registration confirmation. If I said in the scenario registration confirmation, if not, then you can also write, because this is obvious the registration information is done. But if you don't do this, it's also okay. So this is becoming in the end more or less my DFD level 0. This person will log in, he will get the successful login. This guy will search according to the criteria, he will get the search results. Both of these can do this. View, also both of these people, registered customer and customer, can do this. They will get the flower details back, the specific flower that they want to view. And the placing order, the registered customer will supply Visa card details and he will get back the successful confirmation SMS or email. So this is my DFD level 0. My DFD level 1 will contain all of these with a little bit more detail and a data store. Remember, the data store is something like a database or a file where everything is processed, is stored. So let's look and create the order, the DFD level 1 for our core process. This one in the exam you will have to create the DFD level 1 for all the major processes. So that for the sake of this video, for shortening it, I'm just creating the for place order. So I have my registered customer who's placing an order, and this is my 5.0 place order. It should be number 1, 5.1. What happens? 5.2. What happens? And 5.3 and so on. What happens? Okay, the first thing which will happen over here, we are assuming he's already logged in. We are assuming he's already selected the flower, but he will give the indication to this process that which flower. So we will write over here select flower, and this guy will response. flower details. This guy is flower. This sub process is place order, only for place order, and this will be supplied with user card, flower ID, and this guy will receive back confirmation SMS email. We're not going step by step. What happens if it is rejected? What happens if he's not logged in? So we're assuming he's already logged in, and then this is confirmation email and SMS. So this was another process, and this is not confirmation email and SMS. This is what is sent back. See from this scenario. Upon successful payment, system displays a message that order is under process. Under process message. Okay, and the confirmation message is separate. So the confirmation message will be from the system given to the customer. So this is my DFD level 1. For the place order, you have to create DFD level 1 for all the functional requirements. Let me store this. Okay. Now comes my last part, which is my ERD. So the ERD will be available from the software and database entity relationship diagram. You can choose any metrics or the US units, whichever one you like. And okay, to activate the primary and foreign keys, we have to go to the data, and we have to link the data sheet. We have to select, do a little bit of selection. So to avoid that, better way is close this, go to new and database model diagram. So create a new database model diagram. In this way you can see this panel over here also. Okay, so you don't have to do any further selections as in the opposite case. So now let's create my entity. Which are my entity? So outside the system is customer. He is not my entity, so we won't write the entity. Inside the system is a registered customer. A customer has, remember what does it have? It has see the scenario. The customer, when he registers, he supplies something: name, email, password, and mobile phone. So name, email, password, and his phone. The name will always be character. Okay, and make it varchar. Email will also be varchar, and character is almost the same, but there's a slight difference. I'll explain to you later on. Okay, this one password is also varchar. If you leave it to char also, it will be okay. Phone will always be only a number. So let's select integer or a number. Let's select number. Make it numeric. And always the primary key is the through which the customer can be identified. So people can have different names. So primary key will always be this one, and his name will always be required, password will be required, phone number will be required. This means that while registration these will always be required. And this is my primary key. Which one? My email. Which is the other entity in this case? See, other entity in this case are my order. Name, place, animal thing. Remember, order is also an entity. Order. Okay. So the call order, a typical order will include. It says, if you read through the scenario, be a date. The customer selected a date, delivery date, customer ID. Okay, it will have delivery date, and make it a time or a date. Date is also required. Okay, for which customer? So for there is a customer, and you write the customer's email over here to make it a foreign key. Okay, and this is also required. And then you can have an amount or order ID over here, which is only sensible. Have an amount, because every order has some money attached to it. And order ID. So we are assuming these two things. It's not in the scenario, and it's better to write in a section, create a section, and make it assumptions. Numeric. Okay. Order ID is integer, amount is numeric because it can be floating. Email is character. Make it varchar. Varchar can accommodate more characters. Delivery date is date time. Okay. I have a registered customer and I have a order. And now I'll stop over there. I will not model anymore because there's really nothing more over here. So this is my registered customer, and this is my order. Okay. Now one order can have a order ID which is its primary key. So let's mention this: the order ID and the primary key. Okay. Let's relationship. One order ID, one order belongs to a customer. Okay, so the email is the foreign key. So this is automatically made. This is the correct way to model this. And then there is a crowfoot notation which you have to enable. For that, you have to go to display options, crow feeds, and here is how you can show your constraints, which is how many people can have one order can be placed by one customer only, but one customer can place many orders. So this is what it is showing us now, and this is okay. So how you can model this? Just click over here on this arrow and you go to miscellaneous, and it will show you 0 or more. Okay, so you should write over here its range is 1 to many. So this 1 to 5 will give it a range 1 to 5. We don't want this. We want a this 1 or more. Okay, because one customer can have 1 or more orders. So this is what we are modeling. Okay, so this is how it is. Or this is another one more option. One customer may already be registered, but he may not have already placed any order. So it's 1 or more is also okay, and 0 or more is better. So it's better you identify the cardinality by 0 or more. And this is how you place. So this is your association between registered customer and the order, and you have 0 or more orders from one registered customer. This is how you read it. Okay, so I think this should be a good example, and hope we have a good result from you guys.